When I started my company, the Shark Group, I knew it was extremely important to me to have opportunities for students to intern with us and learn about business. But what I didn't realize was how much we'd actually learn from them. It's like I always say, a mentor can be anybody, older, younger, anybody. You can learn from anybody. And at the Shark Group, we have an open door policy for interns to make mistakes, contribute ideas, and be a real part of our team. So here are my Shark Group interns. Oh, and don't forget, you better watch till the end so you can apply to intern with me as well. You have some questions for me now?
I was just wondering if there is a type of business or an industry that you're hoping to invest in or get into that you haven't already invested in.
You know, Warren Buffett says somebody who's successful says no the more than they say yes. And we already are very thin spread with opportunity, and we can drown in opportunity. We need to concentrate a little bit more on the things that we know best, or partner up with people that really know it well enough, so all they need is whether my intellectual property or our access to resources. So the short answer is no, but the answer for you to learn from is that just dig narrow and deep on really what you know best so that you can really maximize it. If I wasn't on that show, I would be going narrow and deep in one or two or three industries.
So I do freelance work in social media, marketing, videography, copywriting, but I sort of put it all under the umbrella of social media. And I was wondering, in your opinion, is it best to market yourself with all the skills that you have and sort of be a jack of all trades? Or do you stand out more when you specialize and niche down and you're offering just one or two services from a unique standpoint?
There's both, and it's two different forms of marketing. It depends on who you are marketing to and what stage of your career are you. If you know that you are really expert in one area, you should market that one area. And then when people work with you, you can say, hey, I can do other stuff, but this is my specialty. If you know that you're, because you could say, I'll give you an example, I have the hard challenge of being able to appeal to a lot of different people because of television. And that is a challenge, because if I go to a book signing, I have people from 10-year-old kids to startups to CEOs. And if you'll know it, well, I'm not sure if you will notice, but in our business, we have various different ways for people to touch me. If you have zero money, you can touch me on Instagram and or Facebook for free and ABC for free. You have $27, you can buy a book. If you don't have if you want to do more than buy a book at $27, you go to speaking engagement at $200, Damon on Demand at $2,000, a private sitting at $5,000, and book me for as a company or corporation for $100, $200, $300,000. And every one of them have different needs. Somebody who is a startup who is saying, I want to book you to speak to you, or I want to book Damon on Demand. They don't need all the other stuff that I have. And the ones who are the people running major Fortune 500 companies, they couldn't care less about startups side. So I say all that to say, it depends on where you're marketing it, who you're marketing it to. At this stage, if I was at your stage right now, I would try, whether it's social media advertising and or Instagram or social media, I would try different kinds of copy and ask the people out there, hey, you see me, I know what I'm doing in this area. What do you need to know from me the most? If you start seeing the most commonly asked questions are, how do I set things up? Then you know that it's a broad band of people that follow you that need to know all that. But if you see the most commonly asked question as well, why is this so good from you? Then it's a specific one. So I always say ask the public, whoever's following you.
So I touched on this for a quick second before, but my mother recently launched her retail jewelry website. So I've been doing her marketing for her. So as of now, we've been marketing almost exclusively on Instagram organically. And we've grown our followers in the past few months from 500 to 5,000, which is great, but we obviously want to keep it that way. So we've been working a lot with influencers, and it's working well, but it's not a long-term strategy for us because obviously sales come in spurts around when the influencer talks about the product or tries on the product, things like that. So we're looking for more of a loyal customer base. So just in terms of marketing plan and marketing strategies, I just wanted to ask, what should my next steps be? Like I know it's a long time until we have like a fully fledged marketing plan, but what marketing outlets do you recommend? And is there any sort of must have that we should definitely be doing at this point?
Tough. And again, who did you say initially you were working with?
At the Shark Group?
Yeah.
Matt.
All right. I don't want to give you a bullshit answer and kind of a watered down answer. I just, Griselle, can you just set up a 10-minute call with Emily and Sydney?
Yep, got it.
Thank you.
And while you're on that call, then have Abby on the same one. So maybe she can do a 10-minute call or with both of them, because I think both of those kind of dovetail into each other.
For sure. Thank you so much.
You said in past interviews that you found out that what you love to do and realized that you never wanted to work for anyone ever again after you sold out your hats on the corner. And since then you've had like a super huge successful career. But you've also said in past interviews about how during the rise of FUBU, your personal life suffered a lot and that you had to end some relationships with people because of your demanding schedule. And I know like the most cliche to ask a super successful business mogul is like, how do you balance work and family? But you also say how you eventually found out who you were and kind of understood yourself more. And I wanted to know how understanding yourself more impacted your already super successful career as it was rising.
Once I concentrated on other things that were more important to me, it made me more effective in business. And that's what happened because I was happier. When I was going through the run of the, okay, well, I got to be here, I got to be there, I got to run a company. And that's when I had, 300 people working for me. I kind of, at that point, I should have sold the company sooner at that point because everybody was telling me, well, you made FUBU, don't sell out, and it was a point where I was keeping it just to keep it real, right? When I should have taken more money at that time. I never sold FUBU, I still own FUBU. I should have taken more money at the time. I should have maybe sold out just to my partners so they can keep it. And I should have went ahead and then invested in other things that I wanted to do at the time. It didn't take until I had bad turns and then one time I had cancer for me to reflect and take a look at my inventory and say, why am I getting up every day? And when you get that clear message of your why, what you're doing, that's when it makes you happy.
My question is, how did you know when you found the right idea for a business to launch?
When I failed at all the other ones, and I didn't care when I failed at the other ones. When I tried this, I tried that, and if it didn't work, I was like, man, I ain't like that shit anyway, or, whatever. And I just didn't like it, and then when I failed or started closing down FUBU because I ran out of capital, I kept wanting to find a way to figure it out and work it out. So it's no different than when you find a sport that you love, or when you happen to find somebody who's a really good friend or somebody you're attracted to. You go through this motion of kind of like everything else is okay, but I got to try to find a way to figure this thing out. And now I'm not saying that's going to make the business right, but at least you're willing to try more. The businesses never start off great. It usually starts off bad, and then you made it a little better, then you made it a little better, then you made it a little better, and before you know it, you're so far deep into it that you're like, well, I got to give it my all. And if I'm going to fail, I want to know I left everything on the field. But it's something you can't get off your mind. It's something you wake up in the morning and you got tingled, you're ready to do it. And every time you learn something new, you're like, boom, I learned something new about it. I'm moving forward, like you're really excited about it.
This is kind of a long question, but after coming such a long way, like from selling hats on the street in Queens, working at Red Lobster to make ends meet, and starting a multi-million-dollar business, all with your mom as inspiration, what was your favorite part of the journey so far?
My favorite part of the journey so far was to know that I challenged myself, and every single time that I heard no, I figured out a way around it. And it wasn't just then, it was all right, I got to start the hats, you know, and then it was like I moved out of the hood. Then it was like, okay, the company may do good for a little while. Then it was like, wait a minute, the company's global. Then it was, oh, you know, the company stopped or slowed down dramatically. And everybody thinks I'm a one-trick pony. Can I do this again? And then it's like, wait a minute, let me buy these brands, Heather Red or Kappa and all these other brands. I'm failing at those, and going, no, I'm not gonna let this be a failure. And then come out with Coogee, and then being a successful investor, and then writing a book when everybody's like, you're dyslexic, and then all of a sudden writing two when the second one fails, and the third one's a New York Times bestseller, and then saying, what, I can do this, and then starting to represent the Kardashians for a while and telling everybody that these people are going to be somebody, and everybody laughing at me, and then all of a sudden they are who they are. Doing the same thing with Pitbull, everybody laughing at me, then he is who he is, and then saying, you know what, I'm gonna do it myself, and then going on Shark Tank. So it was always the big finger, the F you to everybody else, but it was more importantly, it was the challenge myself to say, I'm going to keep moving throughout industries any way that I want and set my mind on something. And once I do it, if I fail at it, which I've had a lot of failures, then again, like I said, I left everything on the field. But if I do it and accomplish it, and if I believe in it, like even, you know, saying I believe in the Kardashians. I walked the Kardashians around. I walked Kim, Khloe, and Kourtney. I walked them around all of New York City to all of my friends. One of my friends owns Jordache, and they own a lot of other brands, and they were relaunching Jordache. I said, these girls will wear only Jordache for the entire year. The entire family will wear Jordache for the entire year for $75,000 on their show, and they all laughed at me. You know, so obviously that's why you see the Kardashians for the first 3 seasons of wear my brand Coogee, because now they call me and be like, oh, well, can they wear it for $75,000? I'm like, you can't even get her on the phone for $75,000 now. So I get to always say that with a limited education, with no resources growing up, you know, with all the challenges I have, if I see something and I say that I think it's going to work, and I don't say it often, or I try to aim for myself and I think it's going to work, then, I know in the confidence of my mind, the work I got to put in, and then where I get to. And if I fail, I know, like I said, I tried the best, but I'm challenging myself constantly. So that's what success is, I believe, challenging yourself constantly and then doing what you want to do.
How can you capitalize on what you have and like make what you work with what you have is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. What is your inventory? What does everybody right now have as an asset? I mean, honestly, the best person to have that conversation with is Champ, because he's the one who helps me with my speeches. But the core of it is that's what real entrepreneurs do. They work with what they have. Now, what do you have? Do you have, a group of friends that are believing something? Are you gifted with? I mean, my biggest gift of what I had is something I didn't have. I didn't have any brothers or sisters or any siblings. So I was kind of like the one who was always looking for a company. That means that's why FUBU started out with 4 or 5 guys, because I wanted brothers. I always wanted people in my house. I was an only child, right? So I learned to bring people in, and I don't, if they do something wrong or do something bad, I try to work it out with them in a company or in a situation, because I know that if I just cut ties right there, well, I'm going to have to work it out with another person sooner or later. Let's just get these problems out of the way. And that's my asset. I love to try to give people shots and chances. I love to do it with the power of broke. So everybody here has to write down what their resources are. And I don't know. It could be a knowledge, a base you have. It could be how you can play ball, or it could be the people around you. But what is your skill set?
Do you have any good book recommendations? Like, what's your favorite book?
Yeah, I don't read that many lately. I haven't. I mean, I audiobook, of course, but my favorite book has always been Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. But I love one I listen to often. It's really simple. It's called 1 Minute Managers: How to Manage People. But I love this one called Who Moved My Cheese. I love the story on Genghis Khan, how he planned wars 10 years ahead of time. Any book by Tim Ferriss, and all my buddies, Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone, they have really great books. So Tim Ferriss, Tribe of Mentors, I like that one.
You were mentioning a little bit earlier about what success is to you. So I wanted to know, as your brand has grown and your publicity, how has your idea of success changed? And then also, what kind of goals do you set for yourself to know when you've achieved that success?
Well, as my brand has changed, when I got on Shark Tank, I was looking to get on there to create other opportunities to buy things to diversify my portfolio for going into the Macy's and the retailers of the world 12 years ago. But I didn't realize that Shark Tank would be, first of all, a hit show. I didn't realize that it would also inspire generations of people. And then I realized my brand has changed also to become a face of entrepreneurship for people of all colors and all genders and things of that nature, to see that if I made it, anybody else can make it. Success, I already have success because I love God and I have my health and I have my family. Those and of course I do have the assets to be able to feed my family and things of that nature. What does success look like in the future? Over this last 4 or 5 months, it has changed in a much better way.
What is your advice to young people such as ourselves and the younger version of yourself as to when you hit such a major setback that you really didn't see coming? How would you try to push past that and still believe in yourself and still believe in the goals and dreams that you had?
Yeah, so where the content is, and I don't know if the social media division can find it, but they need to send you out my method on setting goals. And I learned how to set goals from reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So the goals are your North Star, that's your compass, and that's the one that's going to get you back to what is important to you when you get knocked down. And because there's a method to setting goals, the 6-month, the 2-year, 4-year, 5-year, and 10-year, is that what you'll see is as you go over the 6-month goals, if you keep getting knocked down, or when you get knocked down, if it's not your North Star and it's still not driving you to wake up every single morning, then you scratch that goal and set a new one. But it's the goals that keep you going. Thank you everybody again for doing that, and thank you all of you who are going to come back, and all of you who are not. Please, make sure you keep us in mind if you have things going on. Update us on who and what you're doing, and please also give us the feedback on all the great things you feel about the company, and of course, absolutely all the things you think that we can improve on. And I truly do wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for sticking with me, and I hope you were able to get some value out of my interns' great questions. If you're a student interested in interning with me, well, I'm accepting applications below, and I hope you'll join our team, and I will see you next time.